They are sad, and many of them are traumatized and shocked by what they have been through. Nobody, not even adults, are immune from this sadness. When you are drowning in problems without any family, you feel sometimes it would be better for you to die.
This school was at the center of the children's lives before the massacre. These survivors shared desks with Hutu children whose parents were to become killers. There are several survivors in Marie Goretti's class. She can bring them the gift of understanding. She also lost her family, and she too is scarred by genocide.
We got separated because we were running for our lives. We said goodbye to each other because we didn't know if we would meet again. Later, I saw the bodies of my mother and my sister and neighbors. I saw their bodies, but I could not do anything for them. I was being hunted myself. So I just passed them and kept going.
At the end of 1996, Rwanda and the survivors faced a sudden new reality. 2.5 years after the genocide, the refugee camps in Zaire and Tanzania were forcibly closed. The Hutu refugees came home. Those who came from Nyarabuye were watched by the survivors as they walked past the scene of the slaughter. The Rwandan government welcomed the disbanding of the camps, which had become breeding grounds for Hutu extremism. But among the returnees were some of the people who'd brought terror to Nyarabuye.
I am angry because the ones who have killed my family have come back, and they have their family. They are complete, but I'm on my own. Why should I live with somebody who has killed my family?
The Hutus were told to camp here, to sleep beside the memorial to the slaughter. Rwanda's new Tutsi-dominated government wants to settle the Hutus in their old villages, but is deeply suspicious of the killers in their midst.
These people show no remorse. They are here and they say to themselves, we haven't finished our work. As soon as we get the chance, we are going to continue where we left off. I think people like that should be taken to court, and perhaps they will be condemned to death.
The hunt for suspects is taking place in every parish in Rwanda. In the Nyarabuye area alone, there were 2,000 cases of murder during the genocide. The prosecutor, Didas Nyirinkwaya, believes that genocide trials are essential if the survivors are ever to be persuaded to share these hills in peace with the Hutus. So great is the prosecutor's caseload that he has only now, 3 years after the massacre, been able to make his first visit to Nyarabuye.
It scares me very much. I ask myself how a human being could commit such crimes. How could it have come to this? This wasn't war. It was a massacre. People killed calmly as if in a slaughterhouse. It was beyond crime, profoundly evil. It makes me very sad.
C'est vraiment très triste.
Valentina was the first person to meet the prosecutor. She has come back to the rooms of her nightmare so that she can give an accurate testimony. Didas is gentle in his questioning. He has a young child of his own, and Valentina's story leaves him shaken. They talk for a long time. What affected him most was a dream Valentina described.
I don't think that the images engraved on her memory will ever disappear. She told me that sometimes she sees her mother in her dreams, that she kisses her mother and that she shows her mother her cut hand, and she says, "Look what's become of me." And she is very sad. Just now we saw her quite relaxed, but I felt deep inside she was very, very sad. So I think this child will never recover. It will be very difficult for her to be a normal child ever again.
There are nearly 90,000 genocide suspects crammed into Rwanda's jails. Men like these, husbands and fathers, were told that it was their civic duty to kill the Tutsi cockroaches. They lived in a society where for centuries the peasants had been taught to follow every official order. This culture of obedience and the relentless official demonizing of the Tutsis helped turn many men into murderers. Kill the Tutsis and your problems will be over, they were told. To the impoverished, jobless masses, these were beautiful words. And the killers were certain they could get away with it.
There had been such killings before, and there had never been any attempt to bring to justice the people responsible. So a culture of impunity developed, and this time around, in 1994, people were very certain they could still go ahead, kill their neighbors, destroy their property or steal it, and suffer no consequences.
Just weeks after returning from the refugee camps, these Hutu men, some of them neighbours of Valentina, have become prisoners. Accused of genocide, they await trial in overcrowded cells near Nyarabuye. Once a week, their relatives come and bring them food. Close by, hidden from the view of his fellow prisoners, we found one man making a confession to the prosecutor. His name was Denis Bagaruka, and he was one of the butchers of Nyarabuye. Eyewitnesses say he was an enthusiastic killer, though he claims otherwise.
It was tiring work. If you didn't go, they would beat you or fine you. Therefore, it was compulsory to go. Even if you were ill, you had to go or ask for permission to be excused. It was an absolute order.
I know that you have 8 children of your own. How, in God's name, can you then help to kill children and to kill their parents? How do you do that?
You see, all these people in the church had children. Some carried them on their backs. No one survived. Everyone was killed. We couldn't spare the children's lives. Our orders were to kill everyone. What makes me saddest is that I myself was an orphan. When I was young, I was looked after by a Tutsi man. He was one of the first to die in the massacre. When I think about him and other Tutsi friends with whom I used to share everything, who are now dead, I almost become crazy.
I feel very scared knowing he is my neighbour. Because he killed, I now feel he will kill again. I am not the only one who is scared. It's the same for others.
Valentine, can you show me where Denis Bagaruka lived?
He was living across there in those houses.
Denis Bagaruka came back from Tanzania to find that his old house and his small plot of land had been taken over by Tutsis. Now his wife and family live in a makeshift hut nearby. For the Hutus of Nyarabuye, the world has been unhinged. Now Bagaruka's wife insists she was ignorant of the slaughter.
The men kept this as their secret. He never told me anything when he came home. There were bullets coming through the banana trees, but I didn't know they were killing people.
The government says it doesn't blame all Hutus for the genocide. But in the new Tutsi-dominated Rwanda, Veneranda thinks it wise to denounce her husband.
My husband should be punished. When someone commits a crime, they should be punished. I don't dispute that. And I'm very happy he admits he committed a crime.
Even though Denis Bagaruka has confessed, he says he was only following orders handed out by the radio.
We heard the radio telling us to be strong and to cut down the tall trees. Our local leader explained these trees were the Tutsis. We were listening to the radio, and because of that and what the soldiers were urging, we started to kill our neighbors.
It is hard now to imagine the atmosphere of hatred created by the state and by radio. Killing was not simply an obligation of the peasants, it was something to be celebrated. Of those accused of masterminding the genocide, only this man, Frodward Karamira, has so far been brought to trial in Rwanda. Even in jail, he's clearly a figure of authority. Karamira was one of the country's wealthiest men and was a leader of one of the main extremist parties. He admits going on radio regularly during the genocide. But in jail, Karamira is devoting his time to rewriting Rwanda's history. Was there a genocide of Tutsis?
Genocide of Tutsis. Tutsi can say genocide of Tutsis, and me I can say genocide of Hutus.
Do you deny there was a genocide of Tutsis?
I think there is massacres of reaction, action and reaction.
But no genocide?
No genocide.
I have no doubt whatsoever that he has the blood of Nyarubuye and hundreds of other places like Nyarubuye on his hands.
Now in Kigali, Karamira is on trial for his life. He stands accused of making inflammatory broadcasts, financing the militias and driving them on their killing sprees. There is tension here. Relatives of the dead have gathered at the court.
I don't know if Karamira is a human being or an animal. An animal. That's why I have come here to see him.
He killed, so he must be killed.
If he was to be killed, that would send a message to everybody that they can't kill their neighbors. That would reduce killing. He must be punished.